Nervous at all, so judge me very harshly. Hello, friends and family of the class of 2012. 4 long years, 1/25th of a century, and what a 25th it has been. Prior to coming to the Hudson School, I'd been in West Orange public schools my whole life and never envisioned myself in a private school. When I was in 3rd grade, I used to see my teacher, Mrs. Armando, as a mentor because she would always begin each class by imparting us with a small bit of sage wisdom. One of her more poignant gems was that if you have more close friends than you can count on one hand, some of them are untrue. A stark take on friendship to convey to a group of 8-year-olds. But then Mrs. Armando treated us less as students and more like very small peers, which is why we responded to her. I would be remiss not to mention that Mrs. Armando had a huge crush on me. And that the other children in the class teased her about it relentlessly. Still, that stuck with me. My whole life until I was 14 years old, I had 4 real friends. 4 friends who in 14 years did one thing on Friday nights. We would go to the local movie theater, find once there that none of us had any money, and then spend the rest of the night loitering aggressively in front of a nearby ShopRite. Still, those nights were ours, and I was unready to give them up. But that changed soon after I visited Hudson. There was an electricity to the student body and faculty. Young people were having conversations that were substantial in an articulate and thoughtful manner. Also, taking the train to school made me feel like Harry Potter. And he's a very powerful wizard. And it did feel like the Hudson School was a place where magic happened. It was a school where seniors and juniors interacted with freshmen. And there were entire class periods devoted to discussing people's feelings. And if you selected any 5 teachers at random, 3 of them may have tried to overthrow the American government. Hudson was that there seemed to be a school-wide dedication to mischief. I remember when Gabe Camprenger exposed himself to a freshman who was asked to remain nameless, David. When American screen actor Ezra Miller chose to educate me on the subtleties of the female anatomy, while I was being tutored in French. And when the senior class set up a television in the lounge that could only catch Jerry Springer. We all wanted nothing more than to enter the fray and be a part of the magic that was all around us. This year was hard. Over the years, our class has been very close with one another, but in a 25th of a century, it can be easy for people to grow frustrated with one another. And with no older kids around to create enchanted moments, it can seem very bleak up at the top. But I'd like to share a moment that I noticed earlier this week. Recently, Noah learned how to play The House of the Rising Sun on guitar. And shortly after, we all learned that the power of and roll is not a force to be trifled with. The raw animal power of that song has the capacity to move my friends and I in a way that I had not assumed possible. Tables have been destroyed. I have done unspeakable things to couches. I saw David do what I can only describe as climb a human being. During one such incident of mayhem, I walked out of the lounge to see a group of freshmen congregated around a nearby table. They were laughing uproariously, and one turned to the others and said, "I love this school," the same way that a 14-year-old Will Stryker did 4 years ago, and it was really special to see. So what I'm really trying to say is that it's not that big of a deal that we're leaving. For the Hudson School, for us it's a thing. But people will come and go, and regardless of that, there will always be magic at the Hudson School. It echoes through the halls, all the way from our sort of theater up to our sort of gym. It's in the people that you meet, even after you've lost touch with it. It has been said that if you have more close friends than you can count on one hand, some of them are untrue. But there are 22 people that I care about very much. 23. Miss Armando.